Listen, I got a lot of love for Rings of Power, but I can't lie, this episode was a fucking slog.
If you thought it's been a treacherous journey this far, I can tell you, you haven't seen anything yet.
It had some really good highlights, don't get me wrong, but they were unfortunately bogged down by the immense amount of time spent on these fucking Harfoots. I swear to God, time slows down for all of their scenes. It's so brutal. But let's not dwell on the negatives. This episode starts off really strong.
Okay, so our Lord Bezos has been very generous by allowing me to share as many clips of the show as I have thus far. Blessed be his soul. But he put his foot down this episode. This video had so many copyright claims. So if you see any awkwardly placed freeze frames, or a picture of our Lord, I'm doing so to appease him, so I can post my video. Hopefully it doesn't detract from the video too much, but what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? We get to see the aftermath of Galadriel being demoted from team leader in episode 2 for being so untrustworthy.
Elrond, I am very grateful you have decided to join my company.
I'm afraid you misunderstand, Galadriel. Elrond's task is not to join your company, but to lead it.
I swear I thought she was going to kill Elrond right then and there. So this episode has her being extremely salty, and it was thoroughly entertaining. Also, Elrond is a fucking baller in this episode. He keeps putting Galadriel in her place, which just makes her even more salty.
We shall need an archer, 2 swordsmen.
And of course, a black person who can sacrifice himself in case something goes wrong.
I trust you can recommend a set?
Trust? Me? Are you certain that's wise, Commander?
At the High King's urging, I agreed to appoint you as First Lieutenant. But if you deem that duty beneath you, I will choose another.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Boom! Teach that elf some manners, Elrond.
Yes, I can recommend an archer and 2 swordsmen.
And of course, a black person who can sacrifice himself in case something goes wrong.
Oh, speaking of saltiness, let's talk about Arondir for a sec. So I guess they didn't know what to do with this character after Bronwyn's actress left the show. So now he's basically Isildur's sidekick. And there are 2 moments from interviews where you can tell he's not happy about losing the spotlight. In this episode's Inside Rings of Power, he says this passive-aggressive joke, subtly pointing out that he has way less lines than his much more important cast member.
We always get these scripts, and then we go, what's happening? And it's like Christmas, but every time you get a script.
He was gonna say, you got a script?
Yeah.
He was gonna say, you got a script?
And before the season started, he said this.
Every show needs to park themselves in certain characters per season. So like it might not be like your favorite characters in it as much or whatnot.
Yeah.
You don't need to be in every scene to feel that moment still like reverberating.
Do you believe it? Do you believe it?
No.
After season 1, I couldn't help but see Arondir as a joke character. So it's so funny watching the actual actor get clowned on too. Arondir and Isildur's plot revolves around searching for Theo, and so they're traveling through this bog, and then they get eaten by a mud monster, and somehow Arondir slices his way out of this thing. So I have 3 questions. First off, look at the mouth on this thing. How are both of them unscathed other than being covered in mud, and how do they fit? Secondly, how the fuck did both of these grown-ass men fit inside of it after they got through and get out so easily? And thirdly, Arondir got pulled upside down, so why is he upright when he slices through? Arondir also manages to cut a chunk of meat off the monster, so this meat belongs to a monster, which he claims is one of the Nameless Things.
There are nameless things in the deep places of this world.
And they eat it.
This one we shall call supper.
If that's actually a Nameless Thing, then you definitely should not eat that meat. Just listen to how the most notorious Nameless Thing, the Watcher in the Water, is described.
Frodo shudders with disgust at the very touch of the water of the lake beneath his feet, and later says that he felt that something horrible was near from that moment on. This all adds up to a very Tolkien trope. Evil infects and corrupts the natural world around it. We're supposed to be unnerved and repulsed by the Watcher.
I got this clip from In Deep Geek. They make very good videos. If you're interested in Tolkien's actual lore, you should check them out. So anyways, eating a Nameless Thing is basically equivalent to eating an orc. Would you do that?
There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
Okay, sorry, that's actually fouler than eating an orc. What are you doing, Arendir?
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
I know you can heal good.
Most wounds to our bodies heal of their own accord, so failed to protect her. I thought she was getting better. There is a foulness in all arrows, not easily forgotten by human flesh.
You're with 2 humans, you careless fuck. That is tainted meat. Also, last thing I want to say about this scene, the monster did look cool for the 5 seconds that it was actually on screen. So like something like this, I really just wish they drew it out a little longer. I love cool monster designs. Would have been nice to have a little more time with it. Would have been nice to see it do some actual damage too, but I know I'm asking too much there. Spent fucking 2 hours with the Ents. You'd think a little bit more of that time could be dedicated to a way cooler design. But of course not, this is Rings of Power. Speaking of the Ents, we finally see him, but before we do, we get this awesome description of what they might look like.
What's out there?
Don't know yet. But whatever they are, they're big.
They're like 27 feet tall at least.
But I'll talk a little bit more about them later. So for now, just remember that they're pretty big trees, alright?
They're big.
So Commander Elrond and his company head out to Eregion, and Galadriel is just having the toughest time not being team leader.
We go south.
Commander, I must protest.
Your opinion on the matter has been heard.
Elrond.
Like I said before, it's really funny watching her struggle not to be in charge.
Opinion heard, Lieutenant.
So Commander Elrond commands her to take an alternate route.
We go south, Menlo.
And they end up surrounded by a bunch of Barrow-wights, and one of the elves actually dies. Can you guess which one of these elves gets killed off?
Alright, then we just need a black person who can sacrifice himself in case something goes wrong. Let's see, anyone will do. Anyone who meets the qualifications. Oh, I know. How about...
Yeah, I get it. Fine.
I know this show gets a lot of flack for being too inclusive and progressive.
When are you people gonna let the past go?
Don't let go!
But you can't say that anymore after they use this classic, overused token black guy sacrifice trope. Take that, racists. This fight also leads to Galadriel getting yet another no moment. And this time she's not really correcting anything. She's actually sort of contradicting herself.
I think it's safe to say that something has awoken them.
No. Someone.
You fool. It's never safe to say anything when Galadriel's around. I think it's safe to say that Sauron's the one that woke these things.
No, this is the work of Sauron.
So if that's the case, doesn't it contradict what she said in the first episode?
Who is this man?
He is no man.
Okay, so he's not a man, he's not a thing. What is he? What pronoun am I allowed to use to describe Sauron, Galadriel?
She is just so desperate to get the upper hand in every conversation, even when it's on an argument.
Is there no point at which the cost of victory becomes too great?
I have yet to reach that point.
Honestly, this is her laziest no moment yet. Because she had better opportunities in this scene to tell people off. Like, she could have said no when this elf said,
"Fear not. Dead men are no threat."
No.
That would have made a lot of sense. Barrow-wights are dangerous. But you're literally correcting pronouns right now. It probably has to do with being demoted though, so we gotta cut her some slack. I'm sure it's not easy being Elrond's lackey. Hey, if you've watched this far into the video, you should definitely consider subscribing.
No.
It would really mean a lot to me. Thanks. So after the battle, her and Commander Elrond are talking, and she sees another vision from her ring, which includes an image of Elrond bloody and captured. So she asks him to prioritize defeating Sauron over his own self-preservation.
Promise me, Elrond. You will put opposing Sauron above all other considerations. Even my life.
Notice how she frames it as if her life is the one in immediate danger, even though her throat wasn't the one with a knife to it. So Elrond is understandably just so sick of Galadriel's shit at this point, and snaps back with a really funny line.
I will make no promise whose asking is born of that ring.
Boom! Call her out on her shit, but then immediately backtracks and swears to do the thing that she's asking.
But I swear to you.
As if swearing is any different from promising.
Defeating Sauron will come first. Even before you.
This is sort of like last season where he swore an oath to Durin, and then immediately broke it.
I need your oath.
You'll never breathe so much as a whisper of what I'm about to tell you to another living soul. Do you swear it, Elrond?
I swear on the memory of my father. Anything you tell me here will end in my ears alone.
When you or...
They say it seeped down the roots into the mountain depths, where for centuries now, it has waited.
Durin was right.
What?
Then you admit the dwarves did find it, the ore containing the light of the lost Silmaril.
Yup!
I admit only this. I promised Durin never to reveal his people's secrets.
Why would you tell me that?
Should I not have?
Probably shouldn't, because if you're trying to keep a secret from me, well, now I know.
It's good to know there's still some honor left among the elves.
Even though he totally folded, Elrond has somehow managed to become one of my favorite characters. In my last video, I talked about how New Bronwyn burning her neck was the show trying to make us question her loyalty. And so it turns out that whole thing was way dumber than I thought.
Astrid, what is this?
It turns out that in the very brief amount of time that Adar has ruled, a new breed of men has been created.
They're not men. They're animals. They'd eat human flesh if they had to.
Still better than eating a nameless thing.
Self-burn. Wildmen do it to hide the mark of Adar.
So now they call this new spawn of humans wild men.
He's a wildman.
Just call them wildlings at this point. You know what you're doing. You'll love Game of Thrones, guys. We all know it. Not fooling anybody.
We would have caught her at the gate had she not come in with you.
Like, I feel like I'm missing something here. Why does being branded by Adar make you a bad person? Because like we saw in episode 1, most people aren't choosing to be branded. So is this some sort of soft magic where if you get branded, Adar has control of your mind or something? If they implemented that theory, it would have been cool, but they're going to make New Bronwyn a good guy anyway. So that's out the window. So basically this group of humans is just being ostracized for getting captured.
Wait, you don't even have a betrothed.
Would you rather I died in Mordor?
I don't know. Let me think.
So fucking dumb. It's just so dumb. Okay, I know I said I was going to cover the Ents later, but fuck that, I hate the Ents. Man, alright, let's talk about the fucking stranger. Gandalf follows a goat and keeps calling out to Nori, even though the only thing around him is the goat.
Nori?
Nobody's that stupid.
The stranger constantly looks confused in this series, but man, this is bordering on schizophrenia here.
It wasn't...
And he meets Tom Bombadil, who also makes me question if Gandalf has schizophrenia.
Done such as I can with your filthy robe.
And somehow, I actually don't mind Tom Bombadil in this show so far. The actor did a pretty good job. I also like the little lamb he's got, he's a real cutie. And for a split second, I almost forgot I was watching Rings of Power. But then they kept talking, and it became abundantly clear that I'm still watching Rings of Power.
What was it that you were hoping to find under those stars of yours, huh?
I was hoping to find my friends.
Yeah, is that the same motive you had for following the stars last season?
Nobody's that stupid.
Get up!
Nori and Poppy unfortunately weren't killed by Gandalf's tornado. So in this episode, they meet more hobbits.
We're STOORS.
And their leader is a fucking bitch.
STOORS?
Boy, if we put your brains in a vulture, it'll fly backwards.
Be nicer to him.
And usually I wouldn't even care that someone's talking down to Nori and Poppy. I fucking hate them. But even so, she still manages to come off as unlikable.
Are you talking back sass to me?
Oh, that was the fourth rule. There's 4 rules. 1, never look her in the eye.
Dude, hobbits suck in this show. Oh my god. They're so bad. So watching this scene was really satisfying.
To what do we owe the pleasure?
Someone on the production team must have a fetish for slapping women in positions of power, cause this is like the 3rd time this has happened this season. The really funny thing about this scene is that after he pimp slaps the Stoor out of her,
we're STOORS.
He has the audacity to lend a hand and help her off the ground. Like, what kind of pimp psychology shit is this? God damn.
To what do we owe the pleasure?
Dude, why do you keep hitting me?
Don't talk back to me.
Okay, sorry. Look, I'm gonna get you out of this. It's you and me against the world. I'm not gonna let anything bad happen to you.
Promise?
I promise. And hey, I don't want to hit you, baby, so please don't make me, okay? You're my one and only.
And in the final scene of the episode, we are treated to a Galadriel action scene, and it's everything I could have hoped for.
I stand alone.
She does some spinny moves. She does the limbo. She's just fucking killing it. Oh my god. I'm not even joking. I was literally screaming with excitement during this scene. I was fucking yelling. And so this episode ends with one of the best cliffhangers the show has ever produced, only to be undercut by the worst rendition of the Tom Bombadil song ever fucking made. You were so close to doing something right, and you had to kill the mood. Tom Bombadil is not in the final scene, you fucking idiots. Save the damn song for another time. Holy shit. I know I say this a lot, but it really is incredible how many new and creative ways they find to ruin scenes. It's absolutely incredible. So in the spirit of this shitty song, I'm gonna end my video with Tom Bombadil. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You already fucking know. God damn it.
Of course, in the books, you know, he's in the forest, and here we were in this sort of barren desert, but everywhere around him is lemons and bougainvillea, bees.
Bees. We all loved him, but he wasn't Egypt.
We wait for you.